I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Things.
Hurt.
No, I think she is.
Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Okay. Gosh, I hope she's okay.
Here we go. The Daily Puck Drop, Friday, December 27th, with the go-to guy, Jimmy Moore. How are you, go-to guy? You look wonderful. You're ready for a Friday extravaganza. Are you ready for the Cougs to shock the world?
It's a Cougar Football Friday. Let's go, Puck.
The Cougars ready to shock the world.
I've talked myself into thinking that we have a shot tonight.
So have I. So have I, sir. It's Cougar Football Friday extravaganza on the Friday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. We'll talk about the Cougs. We'll talk about that miserable game that was Thursday Night Football. It was just burn the tape. Lofa will join us in about 20 minutes from now. Chris Egan at 11 o'clock. And, of course, we wrap it up every single Daily Puck Drop with Hey What the Puck. But I am broadcasting inside the Limback Lumber Studios, proud sponsor of PuckSports. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. Largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give Limback Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. Follow along on all the social media platforms if you're not doing so already on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, PuckSports, Puck_sports on TikTok. And, of course, become a Puck's Posse member. You get full access, VIP content. Becoming a member also supports the one and only PuckSports.com. Just $5 a month. Any issues with that, just give me hit me up at puck@pucksports.com. Jim joins us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Brought to you by
A Clean Streak, Puck, professional window and exterior cleaning service, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. 100%, not just 95%, not 99%, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Whether you need your roof cleaned or those gutters are always jammed up with leaves and dirt, they'll clean those too. Pressure washing, if you got needs, your driveway, whatever, your siding, they'll come out and handle that. Why would you choose A Clean Streak, you ask? Puck, I know you're asking that.
Why?
Because it's a local business, it's family owned, and Brian Turner and his crew are trusted and reliable. Not to mention, Brian Turner is a fantastic guy. So give him a call at 360-395-5748. That's 360-395-5748, or visit acleanstreak.com.
Okay, all right. We got Seahawks potential holiday massacre on the horizon. Somehow you and I don't know why we're confident or at least optimistic about the game tonight.
Well, come on.
I don't know. Delusional.
We're either going to be competitive and maybe cover the spread and maybe win a close game, or we're just going to get drilled. I mean, I don't think there's an in-between, though. Like, I don't think we're going to lose by 10 or, 14
So
or
either
something.
we're going to drill by 30 or we win a close one.
Yeah, drilled by 50 maybe.
Oh, my God. I can't take 50. You know what? You know what we need? We desperately need. We need some good news. We need Zevi Ball. We need Zevi Eckhouse to lead us to the promised land.
Yeah, we do. We do need that. Because I happen to notice, I looked at the over-under on Kyle McCord passing yards tonight, the Syracuse quarterback. You want to take a stab at what it would be?
345.
That's not bad. 323.
Okay.
And you'd have to bet the over all night long on that, wouldn't you?
Well, there's a chance, Jim, he could get that in the first half.
He's thrown for 4,300 yards this year.
Maybe they pull it off because they got Pete Callaghan leading the charge, who you've already dumped Neuheisel, and now you want Callaghan to lead the team. I mean, pick a coach, man.
I get a kick out of the comments. Everybody give me shit, like, God, what a dumbass idea that is, just because he cried during a news conference in Pullman and
You love that.
he loves his players. I do. And I liked his response to NIL and the transfer portal and everything and how much he loves the kids. And I'm wondering if that's going to make a difference and make up for the fact that our whole coaching staff is gone. All the players are gone. Will that compensate enough where we can be competitive in the Holiday Bowl tonight? I sure as hell hope so, because it would be. Where would this rank in all-time Cougar victories if we won tonight?
I'd be one of the all-timers.
It would.
It would be one of the all-time victories if they were to pull. If they were to magically pull this thing off. Yeah. I mean, there was
it'd be top 10, wouldn't it?
I mean, honestly, with all the circumstances, I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna.
Come on. I know.
I'm living in the moment right now, so I'm getting really worked up about it. Yeah, it might be top 5. I don't know.
No, it's top 10 anyway if we were to pull it off.
Oh, for sure, top 10. I'm saying. I mean, you can maybe convince me top 5. That's how delusional I would be about it. They did a picture. Did you see the picture, Jim Moore, when they were on the aircraft carrier?
I did not see that, no.
It looked like they had 30 guys. I'm not exaggerating. In fact, someone actually counted it up. And I think they were mistaken on how they counted it up, because I think that they included some coaches, because I saw some coaches in there, like the Whitworth guy, who's the tight ends coach, I think special teams. They counted him as well. They counted 53.
Can we talk to Syracuse about playing an eight-man game tonight?
I think, who was I talking to yesterday where they told me that there is a – God, who was that? Dugar. I think before Dugar and I were recording, I think Dugar was telling me, and I didn't realize this, that there is a threshold in the NCAA of how many guys you have suited up in order to play.
What is it?
I don't know. He didn't know. He was talking to Varel at the Times about it. I'm telling you, I'll find this picture, and you're gonna look at this picture and be like, "Oh my God, man! That's not a team. They don't have anybody, for God's sakes."
Yeah. So you're good with these guys that are in the portal that are playing for us tonight?
But I don't even know who is it. Who's playing? We don't even know who's playing.
Well, I think Meredith is playing. The guy that bled Cougar blood until he didn't bleed Cougar blood anymore.
How did that one treat you? Because you were all on that Josh Meredith until he's like, "Yep, I'm in the portal."
That one hurt. That would hurt.
But
screw Buddha. Screw that Buddha kid.
Oh, you don't like
Screw him. Screw him big time.
Because he went to Washington.
Yeah, Bishop Sankey us, man.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal.
No. What? Don't justify it.
I'm not justifying it. Well, maybe I am. I don't care. I really don't. Honest, 100%, hand to God. I don't believe in God. Truth. No, I know.
Why do you say hand to God when you don't believe in him?
Isn't it just what you're supposed to say if you're really telling the truth?
Well, I know. But like you're putting your hand to someone you don't think exists.
To the football gods out there.
Okay.
I
believe they exist.
Really do not care where any of these guys go anymore, because I don't look at them the same anymore. This last 2 weeks or the last 3 weeks has just been, it's so different now. Transactional business. I don't care anymore. I don't care where any of them go. If they want to be here, great. If they don't want to be here, we'll see you later. Like I don't really care. So the fact that he transferred to Washington, but it doesn't bother me. I know it's going to bother a lot of other people, and I'm probably in the minority, but it doesn't really shake my tree.
Hey, hand to God, it bothers me that he went to Washington, okay?
Sure. I get it.
Yeah, and I hope he plays poorly for the Huskies.
Well, it adds.
I love that everybody's bringing up, like, Adam Lewis. I love him, Adam, on Twitter.
Oh, all of his stats.
Yeah, well, he said, like, whatever Buddha tweeted out, well, you're loved until you're not, or whatever, and then Adam had to come firing back at him with, you're loved till you miss so many tackles,
We will. I mean, every fan base does this quickly. We will turn on our own.
God, yeah. That Paul Wolf quote, you remember that one? I didn't know that we ate our own when he got fired. You remember that?
Yeah. Here's the picture from the aircraft carrier. You tell me if this is a team of full scholarship players. Look at that.
Well,
That's not a big team.
Is that the team I'm putting money on plus 17 tonight?
Yeah, well, I think it's up now. I think it's like to 18 now.
Can it get to 21 by kickoff,
And
please?
I think there's coaches in here on this one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, who? Like all interim guys?
Yeah, there's some interim guys in there.
You know, the first thing I saw this morning when I turned on ESPN, I wasn't watching the yelling shows this morning, but first thing I saw was the Oklahoma Navy game, and the first shot was of Ben Arbuckle.
Yeah, he's on the
Oklahoma
sideline.
sideline.
He's coaching because I was curious this morning. He's not calling the plays, but he's coaching the quarterbacks. So he's coaching the kid that's playing, the freshman. He's coaching him. And I'm curious. I guess Mateer was on the radio pregame for Oklahoma, but I was curious if Mateer was there. I don't know. I've kind of been watching off and on. I have it on in the background, so I haven't seen. I'm assuming he's there, but I don't know. I'm hoping that he is there, and that they were doing an interview with him. So,
did you see those reports where Baker Mayfield talked to Mateer?
The best one was the North Carolina one.
Yeah. That Gronk and Brady talked to him and FaceTimed him?
Can you imagine getting a phone call from Tom Brady? Hey, John, this is Tom Brady. Excuse me? Yeah, it's Tom Brady and Gronk. How about coming to North Carolina?
Yeah, I wonder how far that got.
Well, I'd entertain it for a while, wouldn't you?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To play
And then
for
who did?
Belichick. Yeah.
And Cam Ward called him for Miami, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, Oklahoma ended up getting him. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably somewhere in a private box or down on the sideline somewhere. But yeah, it was just kind of weird to see Arbuckle there. And I know you're not. I mean, you're okay with him leaving, aren't you?
Yeah.
You didn't really like the offense anyway.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit more balanced offense, but I mean, he was. I don't also think he was as bad as everyone makes him out to be, but I enjoyed him. He's a great interview. He's a hell of a personality. I don't think he was as bad as a lot of Cougar fans thought he was. It's kind of how I view Grubb in a ways. I think Arbuckle, there's some things that he has issues with. I don't think he particularly is great at like making adjustments. He doesn't seem to like kind of alter his game plan based on what the defense is doing. And like Grubb, it's like he gets away from, like, just run the ball, But also they have offensive linemen that can't run block. So whatever, you want to run your head into a wall, I guess. Yeah, but I don't think he was as bad as everyone makes him out to be.
Okay. Do you have a leading candidate in mind for head coach?
Oh, I'm all chips in on the Montana State guy. That's what I want.
You don't have any chips on Neuheisel or Colegas?
I have 0 chips on Neuheisel. In fact, I want nothing to do with Rick Neuheisel and his kid. Nothing at all.
Oh, why are you turning on me like that?
I didn't
you led
turn
your
on
show. You led your podcast with it last week.
Because I just wanted to entertain you. Because you love the idea of Neuheisel. Just like you love the idea of crying Pete Caligas, there's 0, and let me just tell you, there is 0% chance he'll be the head coach at Washington State.
No, there's not.
0.0%.
Okay, let me change your mind on that.
Trust me on this one. 0.0% that he'll be the head coach.
Can I make an attempt to change your mind?
Sure.
It'll be short and sweet. If we win tonight, would it be 0%?
0.00%.
Seriously?
Not a shot. 0.
Okay.
0.
If the team is carrying him off on their shoulders,
crying just like Ichiro.
Yeah.
And Griffey.
He might be the guy that we need. No.
I think if he wants this, whoever the coach is and wants to stay on the staff, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did you know that it's the defensive MVP of the Holiday Bowl back in 2003, that it's his birthday today?
That would be Kyle Bossler.
Very good. Yeah. Hometown of Kyle Bossler.
Sprague.
Elma.
Oh,
yeah,
that's kind of close.
It's his birthday. Remember that? He was a punter being the defensive MVP. We beat Vince Young in Texas. They were ranked 5th in the country. Will Dirting running all over the place.
You didn't really beat Vince Young, though. He came in the game late.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't start. It was the other kid. It was Sims, wasn't it? No, or hold on. Now you're gonna get me, and I gotta.
I just remember Dirting chasing after Young in the end zone.
He came in late, but he didn't start the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
now,
when you talk about all-time great Cougar victories, that's up there.
that was a great one. It was a great.
Yeah.
One. It was a one. What year was that again?
03. Kegel was our quarterback.
That's right. Hold on. Didn't Sammy Moore have a big catch?
Probably. Sammy had a lot of them.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That was a fun night.
Did you think about 28-20 was the final score? Who started that day? Well, Vince Young actually. No. He came in late. He threw 14. I don't know if they benched him or not. I can't remember. But Chance Mock. What a name. Like, if you're going to be the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns, your name is Chance Mock. God, you can't make that up. He was the starter.
I don't remember him.
Yeah. I can't remember if they pulled him because he was terrible or they knocked him out.
I can't remember exactly what Bosler did so well as a punter that night to be defensive MVP, but he must have pinned Texas deep a bunch of times and hit a few 60-yarders.
He had 7 punts for 281 yards for a 40.1 yard average, and he put him. I'm looking at the box score. He put him deep every single time.
Yeah. God,
it wasn't real.
That was pretty cool. What about our punter in this game? Didn't he go in the portal too? Who the hell is it, Haber?
Yeah, Haber. He's in Vanderbilt. I was somehow, for some reason, was looking at that today.
So we're gonna have Janikowski punting again?
I guess so. Yeah.
Why don't you know this stuff?
Well, because I don't. I mean, no one knows anything.
But it's game day, and you're a podcast host that should know this shit.
But no one, your future coach Caligus, he won't say who's on the team. No one knows. They're not allowed to say who's at practice, for God's sakes. The only thing we know that Meredith is playing, because they had the video of them getting off the bus, and the one guy at the TV station was like, I think that's Josh Meredith. That's it.
God, I would be that dick reporter after the game or before the game or sometime this week that went up to Meredith and said, hey, man, you still bleeding Cougar blood? What? Oh, God, I kind of miss being a dick in the locker room at times.
Yeah. Well, hey, so I want the Vigen guy, and Citizen Salt says in our chat, did you hear about the plane from Bozeman to San Diego? I did hear about that. It was a Coug fan that had that story. I think it's where I saw it, right, on social media. There was a plane from Bozeman to San Diego. I don't know. I mean, sure. Hire them. I mean,
you ever get tired of saying I don't know about stuff?
National championship game is next week. So, I mean, if they hire him, I'd be all on board for Brett Vigen. I think he's been a good coach. He runs a good system. It's fun to watch. He's tough. I mean, it's a step up. So, yeah, is there always going to be that worry that it's not going to translate to the next level? Probably, but
I'm assuming he's a younger guy. I mean, everybody's younger than me, but I mean,
yeah, he's got to be
like 40 or something?
He's got to be in his 40s or so. I think so. Brent Vigen. Let's see. Brent. How old is Brent Vigen? He is 49. 49.
Oh, 49. Okay, yeah. So he's got some experience too.
Yeah, he's got some experience. Been a head coach, Wyoming. He's got ties. I mean, he kind of comes from the same coaching tree as Dickert. That Craig Bowl, North Dakota State, Wyoming, all that kind of stuff.
So are you I saw somebody was surprised today. I don't even know who it was, but that we haven't heard any news about the coaching search or nothing is leaked. Should we have a new coach in place by now?
Well, the rumors last night were that they think that it could even happen during the game today or right after.
During the game or right after?
Yeah.
Okay, so after Kaligas gets off his players' shoulders, that's when he'll be named the coach.
After Pete Caligas gets lifted off.
I don't even know how to pronounce his
That's fine.
name.
That's okay. I'm helping you out. After Pete Caligas is carried off the field today, thanks all his players, is crying, they'll name somebody else the head coach. Yes.
And he'll be saying, hand to God, I didn't think this would happen. But
to God.
Glory be to God. They hired me.
Be to God. Let's talk some Seahawks football right now with Lofa Tatupu. And hand to God, Lofa, That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. I want my time back. Lofa's appearance brought to you by 1937 Farms, family-owned and operated craft cannabis tucked away in Snoqualmie Valley. Visit 1937farms.com. Follow them on Instagram. And, of course, Savage Brewing Company. Go check out savagebrewery.com. And Lofa's all-day podcast, wherever you find your podcast. All right. Was it a miserable game, or do you like a defensive struggle?
Well, the struggle was right. I don't know. Our defense looked good. I really didn't think their defense looked that great, and that's what's kind of concerning. Is it was an offensive struggle for us. And first drive, we walked right down the field, and I think we had 7 rushes in that first drive. And then we just dropped back like 6 or 7 straight times on the next 3 drives that all went 3 and out, almost lost the ball on a fumble. It was just very confusing. And I know the first 15 plays are scripted for almost every NFL team, but like, at what point do you just say, all right, we're just going to keep running until you stop us?
Well, Lofa, how do you figure that out? How do you differentiate between a good offense, good defense? In Seattle, we're going, man, that was great defense by the Seahawks last night. In Chicago, they're probably going, that was great defense, but boy, our offense sucked. So how do you see that?
Well, I look at how we had 7 sacks. It was really a suffocating. Like they didn't move the ball until after one of those turnovers, the fumble, right? I think they got their only 3 points, right? So they're on our side of the 50. But then the other one, it was the last couple plays where Caleb used his legs, and thank God he didn't do that to start the game or throughout the game, because we would have been in trouble. And he was missing wide open guys. I got faith that Caleb's going to be a good quarterback, not just because he went to USC. All right, I'm not being a homer here.
There's a little bit of that.
He's got too much talent to not bounce back. But he was holding the ball a very long time, which is why we got 7 sacks. He's the most sacked quarterback. I think he's got 64 or 65 now after last night. But yeah, and there were places to go with the ball. He was missing Allen and the other, Odunze on wide open. They showed that dig across the middle, and he was saying, "Hey, go!" And so their timing, everything's off, communication. But a lot of it did have to do with our defense. Now, our offense, it looked like everything was going smoothly, and then until it wasn't. The run game, we were using pullers, everything, and then second half we tried to come back to it, and it looked like now they've had a whole halftime to talk about where they got hit in the run game. But in between drives, you have very little time. I know you got the tablets and then go over every play, but there were 7 plays that we were successful on. Kenny Mack had 9.2 a carry, and this was in the first drive, and Sharps had 6 or 6.5. That's like 7 different plays that were successful, and that's a lot to go over until halftime. And that's why they did have time at halftime to say, hey, you see this set, this is what they're doing. You see this, and so that's why we had a tough time running the ball. But we did stick with it to the tune of 15 carries for Sharps. He ran hard. That offensive line did its job in the first half. Second half, they were adjusted to it, but he runs hard, man. I like watching him play. And he's got the oblique and he's got that brace on his elbow, so he's just a tough kid.
But Lofa, it was the balance that everyone has wanted, right? They had 25 running plays. I know you got some Geno runs in there as well, and they threw it 23 times, but at the end of the day, they scored 6 points. Yeah. Why could they not finish and sustain those drives, especially there in the second half?
Yeah, we were out of rhythm. We didn't have, sometimes we weren't ahead of the sticks. Well, we had a false start. We had a holding, just in things that, again, I feel bad for Grubb in those situations. Like, you look at your play sheet, what's your best 2nd and 20 play? Does anybody have a good 2nd and 20 play? No. But we went no huddle and we were moving, and then we stop it. We're just like, okay, we're on the other side of the 50. It's like, so let's slow it down. No, we got them on their heels, keep attacking. And just going empty on a lot of these 3rd and shorts. I didn't understand the 3rd and medium, 6 or 7, where they went empty and it was a delayed pass. That was very creative. I like that, right? And but we don't take any shots down the field. And if you don't take any shots down the field, Like, and we have the speed to do it with DK. Like when he is at full speed, no one wants to step in front of that. And so like get him going like that. Even New England, the drags and where we just kept hitting him on full speed, it was a problem. And then we hit him on the go route. But I don't know, when's the last time we saw a go route to him?
Well, can I just jump in there, Jim? Let me just jump in. Was that because their plays not being called downfield to take a shot, a strategy not to do it, or is Geno last night just unwilling to do it against that defense?
Yeah, I think because they have a good rush, that defense. They had 3 or 4 sacks, in which we held the ball a little too long. But they did pan out, and Herb Street even said, he's like, there's nowhere to go with this ball. So then, okay, we got to take off and run. Just get 3 or 4 yards, right? And he did it later when he got the 19-yarder. But it's just there was one where it was JSN short and then DK deep, and just he didn't see him. And so that one was on Geno, that one's on Grubb. But I would send DK deep at least 3 or 4 times a game. Like once a quarter, this guy is going deep, and we're just going to throw it up to him and see who comes down with it.
Yeah, the temper tantrum thing that he had going on last night. What, as a teammate, if you'd been out there with him, I mean, what do you do in that situation, or coaching staff? I know that he's gotten better with that, but boy, last night he was lucky he didn't get ejected from the game.
Yeah, I thought he was, because he hit the one guy, right? And then he turned around and then hit the D lineman. And so I thought that second one was going to get him ejected. But, like our leaders got to go over and just get him out of there, right? Like just you have to remove him from the situation. It's not as bad as it used to be. But, I mean, if I was a team, I'd be like, DK, we know you could kick everyone's ass out here. Like, so do it during the play. Like he had a little DB on him, and then they got into like a arm bar kind of like locking each other out, and then they got into words. But you saw the whole defense, they were clapping. They're targeting him in these situations, and they're saying, hey, if we can just get into his head, we can get a penalty, and we can, like, this is the strategy that we've employed back. I remember back in the day we played the Niners. They were like, hey, if you see Vernon have a bad play, make sure he knows it was a bad play. And that was when Singletary had the famous rant and, told him to go to the locker room.
Yeah, I just I know it was his only one of this year, right? His personal foul penalty. But I'm with both of you. I was stunned that he was not ejected, because it's not only 2 punches, but he also headbutted the guy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I honestly could not believe they didn't throw him out of the game. And then, and again, you're putting a microphone in front of these guys. Lofa, you've been there, so we don't need to sit there and tell you. It's 30 minutes after the game, if that. Yeah. And so I guess you always have to, I have to remind myself not to react too much to what players say 30 minutes after a game. Emotions are still running high.
Still trying to come down, yeah.
Yeah. They haven't had their 1937 farms yet.
Right.
Okay, They haven't been able to relax a little bit. But he just seemed, when he was answering, he just seemed defiant. Like, I don't have a problem. There's nothing wrong with me. And that's been a common theme with him. And I think we all like him as a player. I mean, he's a freak, and you're like, this guy should dominate. He should dominate games. And I guess that's where I come back to, Lofa, is that he doesn't dominate like he should.
I hear you. Hey, the only one that can stop DK is DK. And from a mentality aspect, you love how he goes out there. But, I would have pulled him aside as a captain. I'd be like, DK, the next time you get out there against that guy, and we call a run play, like, don't just do your job. Make sure he knows not to mess with you before the whistle's blown. Drive him out of bounds. Drive him anywhere, and then into the ground. And, like, you have to pick your battle, but you have to stay in the moment and just remember to protect the team and don't put yourself before the team. But he's a hell of a competitor. That's why we love him. But yeah, like I'm saying, DK is the only one that can stop DK.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm just starting to wonder a little bit because, he's going to end up with 1,000 yards if he gets 61 yards against the Rams. So that's considered another good season by him. But is he worth what you're paying him anymore? When you look at the salary cap next year, you got Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb as the only receivers in the league that are going to have more of a salary cap hit than DK at $31.8 million. I don't know what his salary is, probably in the $25 million neighborhood. And he really hasn't been the DK that I mean, we always look at him and, God, physical specimen, the guy, unstoppable. No, Lofa, you just said DK's the only one who can stop himself. But he hasn't really produced like a guy that you would expect making that kind of money.
I hear you, and that's fair. He has played through that MCL sprain. He's a warrior. He has taken a lot of double teams and coverages where JSN and the other guys are open. I'd still to get 1,000 when everybody, you're a marked man, you're targeted, like in terms of, hey, we're rolling the coverage this way. I think he's still worth the money. It's just we're not getting 1,200, 1,400 yards, and but I take into account everything that goes on, and then targets. I don't know how many targets he's got, but I would venture that it's not up there with those guys that have 1,500 yards. Those guys have like 150 targets a game or a year already, and I doubt. I'd be surprised if he has over like 110. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, he's at. I mean, the number one Malik Neighbors at 154, Lamb at 152, JSN's at 132, and I think DK is 23rd in the NFL, 103.
Ah, see, yeah, and so it's just that's still 1,000 on 100 targets, which means I don't know what he'd catch 60, 70 maybe. But it's I think he's worth the money. It's and for what he does.
I think it's the I'm just trying to look if if there's a big most people have this discrepancy between targets and receptions. I mean, targets 103, receptions 63, and to Jim's point, 939 yards. I think that the disappointing thing, especially when you see how big he is, Lofa, and just how physical he is, to have 4 touchdowns, and when you have these issues in the red zone, how they haven't been able to unlock him in the red zone. He just seems to me to be like the cheat code for the red zone for an offense.
Absolutely, and like when we were really rolling, like I think it was maybe a year or two, or even back a couple years ago, it was like lock it all the way down the field, DK in the red zone. Lock it all the way down. But teams are game plan. Even what was it, Barner's touchdown? I think they might have doubled DK and JSN on that one a week ago. And so it opens up other people. And I think that's really why you still need a guy like that to manipulate coverage in your favor.
Hey, with Tyler Lockett, I mean, that was probably his next to last game with the Seahawks last night, and I know how much everyone appreciates him and what he's done in Seattle. What a great guy, too. Do you see any situation at all? It sounds like he still wants to play. He's told reporters that he wants to play next year, but do you foresee him taking another contract cut and, maybe coming back to Seattle, or you think this is it? I'm thinking he's probably going to retire and end up being a real estate agent like he's his post-career, but what do you think, Lofa?
Yeah, I don't think he would go through a whole nother season on another pay cut. And I understand that. I mean, 11 years, what the guy's done is incredible. He could have threatened, Hester's return record. I fully believe it. But he made a Pro Bowl his rookie year with several returns for touchdowns. And then they're like, all right, he's too valuable as a receiver. He's not doing that anymore. Unbelievable. On the field, like very underappreciated by the national media. But everybody up here knows how special Tyler Lockett is, and then especially off the field, everything he does. I mean, that guy, unbelievable.
Yeah, his cap hit next season is $30.8 million. I mean, the idea that he comes back are probably slim to none. And if he doesn't want to take a significant pay cut, maybe he takes less to go to maybe a team that feels they need that extra wide receiver to compete for a championship. But I would agree with Jim. I think his time in Seattle's probably done, whether he moves on or retires. And he's right. He's been one of the best wide receivers this organization has ever had. And I think, and obviously, if they decide to keep DK, don't do anything with him. Now you roll with DK and JSN.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now we need Arizona to work in our favor, knock off the Rams on Saturday, and then if we get into the whole strength of victory, which is the most confusing thing in the world. I had to get help on this one, and I probably still am wrong. We are rooting for the Broncos, the Packers, the Jets, the Falcons, Dolphins, and Lions.
We need 4 out of the 6 to win.
Yeah. And the Broncos are taking on the Bengals. Packers are facing the Vikings. Jets are facing the Bills. Atlanta's taking on Washington. Dolphins facing the Browns, and the Lions are taking on the 49ers. Yeah, so they're going to need some help. The easiest thing in the world is just for Arizona to knock off the Rams, and then the Seahawks beat the Rams. Yeah.
Can't believe I'm saying it, but go Cards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they can pull it off. I think they put 2 linemen on the IR. I think Connor's going to play, but if they miss out, Lofa, the only people they can blame are themselves, because they'll look back to that Giants game and go, "That's the game we kicked."
The Giants game, the Rams game, where we had the lead, and then they forced overtime, and then we lost it overtime, going for it on 4th and 1, and then they came down and do a play action, touchdown, 60 yards. It was like, yeah, there's a lot, but we're the common factor in it.
Yeah.
But all in all, if you look at it objectively, are you feeling like the Rams? I mean, they've been playing better than the Seahawks in the second half of the season.
They're trending up, where they're on a streak, or at least like 6 out of the 7 games or whatever it is. And they they're primed for runs, right? Like they have made deep playoff runs, and this is what happens. That you just see who's trending upwards, who's kind of like trending downwards, and it's we're just kind of having a little fluctuation. We need to just. I think we'll take care of business next week, but we do need some help, whether it's them, Kyler Murray just balling out. I mean, they beat them 41-10 to start the season, but these 2 teams have trended the opposite direction since then. So it's like, who knows? Anything's possible, but we didn't do ourselves any favors this year.
Okay, if they miss out on the playoffs, how would you sum up this season for Seattle? Year 1 under McDonald.
The learning experience, right? I guarantee you we'll be better next year, but it's a lot for a first-time coach, regardless of how successful they've been as a coordinator. Now you're delegating responsibility and trust to all the coaches to get that message down to the players, and I'm sure there's a lot of change, philosophy and just even playbook and everything. So I still see it as a good season, and but it's tough if we miss out on the playoffs, right? Because it's so close. So hopefully, I'm keeping the faith. We're still going to make it.
Okay, we didn't do the highest performer of the weekend for last night's game because we didn't have a show before that. We did it for last week against the Vikings. None of us came close. I went with Ernest Jones. He finished with 5 tackles. Lofa went with Lockett. He had 2 catches for 19 yards. And Jim did okay. Jim went with DK, 3 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. So not bad, Jim. So we got to do, let's see, we don't have it. No, we'll wait. We won't do it because we don't have a game this week. Friday, right? We'll do it next week when they face the Rams. So we don't have to do that. But if we were gonna pick from last night, I was gonna go with Leonard Williams. So I'd probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew he was gonna have 2 sacks.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to have a big game, and my backup to Leonard Williams was Devon Witherspoon, and then the backup to Witherspoon was Nwosu.
Right. Did you see Spoon? I mean,
he's unbelievable.
He's everywhere.
Love him.
He's a blur. Watch the ball, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch the blur, like the Tasmanian Devil. Just like
he's my favorite player, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I hear you. And I mean, and Ernest Jones is a baller, right? And Knights looked good, and so it's hard for me to pick a DB over linebackers, but it's tough, man. That guy, the crack toss where he shot underneath and then smoked the guy for like a 6-yard loss.
Hey, last thing for you: when Pete Carroll gets the Bears job and he wants a linebackers coach, you going to take it?
Absolutely not. But I'm telling you, Pete's going to coach somewhere. There's a couple vacancies. The sheer experience alone, and like that he knows, and he's got plenty of guys that are going to be calling him to put together a staff. And that's, a hard thing to do is, for most of these guys that have worked their way up to be a first-time coach, put a staff together, kind of like what McDonald's had to do this year. Pete, that's nothing to Pete. He's done it 4 times already, right? So.
All right, Lofa, enjoy the weekend. No football for you. A post-Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next Friday. Thanks, Lofa.
All right, appreciate you guys. Take care.
There he is, Lofa Tatupu, who joins us every Friday at 10:20. Talk a little Seahawks. Brought to you by 1937 Farms, family-owned and operated craft cannabis tucked away in the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. Visit 1937farms.com. Also follow him on Instagram and Savage Brewing Company. And also check out Lofa's All Day Podcast, wherever you find your podcast. What do you think of Pete Carroll with the Bears?
Well, I was thinking about Pete last night, and after watching that game, wondering if he would even want to coach there in Chicago. But I'm sure he'd be an upgrade, wouldn't he? I mean, I think he's still got life in him at 73 or whatever. I mean, look at him. He's just always bouncing around. If Belichick could get a job at North Carolina, then why not? Would you hire Pete Carroll?
Can't wait to get to Chicago. Ooh, got Caleb Williams. Woo, 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 woo. Got the Bears. Did cut. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, God, are you kidding me? Of course I want to see that guy back in the NFL. How about
then you could have the wheel going again, I mean, I miss the wheel.
Who are we going to go, Caleb or whoever else? I don't know. But boy, oh boy, we're bringing back Russell Wilson. Russell's coming in here and he's going to mentor Caleb Williams. Woo, woo, woo. How about, we didn't touch on this in the game last night. I'm going to tell you, that guy that's the interim coach, who's the interim coach for the Bears? What's his name? Is it Brown? Thomas Brown?
I don't know.
He'll never get a job ever in the NFL. That was the worst. The absolute worst coaching job I have ever seen in my life.
You talking about in the last 2 minutes or just overall?
All of it. How about 4th and inches? The guy jumps off sides, the former Seahawk, and then 4th and 5, and he's like, we're going to punt it. And then he's got 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. He's like, wait, timeout. He waits the timeout because he can't make his mind up to go for it. They get bailed out with an incredible play there by Caleb Williams. Then he doesn't kick a 58-yarder. Kick the field goal. What are you doing?
Well, I don't know if Santos had that range there, but I mean, at least give it a try like McDonald did with Myers in the 60-yard attempt last week.
Least. What do you think?
Well, what killed me too is when they had 4th and 5 or 4th and 10 or whatever, and the punter was out there. I'm going, what are you doing, man? You're 4 and 11 It doesn't matter. You're an interim coach too.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And then he just looked so confused on the sideline.
Yeah. Well, I wanted them to punt because I had the Bears in 4. And so then if they hadn't have made that, Seahawks would have gotten the ball, and even if they got stopped, they would have been in field goal range and won by 6.
I thought for sure when he hit, who was it that he hit? When he hit DJ Moore in the 4th down play, I thought for sure the Seahawks were going to lose. I'm like, you make a play like that on 4th down and 10, like you lose the game. You do.
Well, they had 2 lucky conversions in that drive. Yeah. And then, the bonehead way they handled the clock. I'm just sitting there. I'm going, you're 4 and 11. You were thinking about punting. Agreed. And then they looked like they were jockeying for a field goal, and they had plenty of time to win the game 10-6 with a touchdown. I go, what are you guys doing?
Or even if you're at that moment when you're letting the clock go down, play for the field goal. Like, just get a couple yards and get the field goal. And he's like trying to chuck it downfield, and what a
God. In Caleb Williams' defense, though, I mean, he just was harassed all night long.
Oh, my God. Jesus. That offensive. You think the Seahawks offensive line is bad? It's like, my guy, check the Bears out. All right. The line keeps going up. I think it's at 18 right now. Joining us from his car. Are you playing golf again now?
No golf today, guys. I'm bar hopping in Edmonds. I'm watching
bar hopping in Edmonds? It's 10:43.
Come on. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We got bowl games all day today.
Okay.
Have you got a cocktail already, Troy?
Not yet. It's coming soon, though.
What are you going to have?
It's coming soon. I'm going vodka grapefruit. That's my new one, Jim. Fresh grapefruit muddled in on top of some Tito's vodka.
You mean a Greyhound?
A Greyhound. A salty dog.
Yeah.
Okay, and what'd you fire at Chambers Bay last week?
On God, 79.
Hey!
Oh, bullshit.
I swear to you, I haven't broken 80 in probably
Why don't you believe him?
What tee boxes? What tee boxes?
Played the Silvers.
What is that? How many yards?
6,100 yards.
Pussy.
Most guys play the sands there. Most guys play the sands. little bit of a pussy. That's all right.
Put an asterisk on the 79.
Hey, I commend your 79, Troy. It is Troy wins. He's our handicapper, PuckSports handicapper. You can follow him on social media. It's Troy West, TroyWins.com. We're going to pick all the games this weekend. Before we do that, though, give everybody the snapshot, the Cliff Notes, what they get up at TroyWins.com.
Yeah, get to the site right now. We're doing 7 days free. So you go to the website, 7 days free. That's to get you in the door, show you guys what we're about. We're a one-stop shop. After that, it's $29 a week. That's an absolute steal. Come to our Instagram, it's Troy West. Everything is documented. We cover everything. We're on absolute fire with the bowl games right now. We're still crushing the NFL. College hoops is in full force. We cover absolutely everything. That's TroyWins.com.
All right, go check it out. We'll get into the games here, and I'm not joking. I think the line keeps going up for the Holiday Bowl. I mean, okay. Let's start there because we have it at 17, but I think it's gone up to 18. But whatever, we'll lock it in at 17. Syracuse, the Orange against the depleted America's team, who I'm pretty sure has 52 players on their roster that will be suiting up tonight. Syracuse is favored by 17. Tell me you like America's team, Troy.
Gosh, I don't want to poo-poo on the Cougs, man. I know you guys have had a tough couple of weeks, but I had this game circled when it opened at 4. I mean, this is a really good Syracuse team led by Kyle McCord. You know, Syracuse has got a couple guys like McCord playing for records, school records. Their coach is amped up for this one. I'd like to see the Cougs compete. I don't see it 42-14 Syracuse.
I don't like that at all, Troy.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Are you going to bet your own money on Syracuse tonight?
I am.
Hey,
I hope you
I've
lose.
got this line anywhere between 7 and 12. I don't have 18. So
You bet it early then.
I bet it early.
Does it ever get to, before Jim goes to the next game, does it ever get to a point for Vegas when you see all this that you just pull the game?
It's funny you bring that up, Puck. We were talking about that today. It's, when you talk about the coach leaving, the quarterback leaving, the amount of players that left, how can they really adjust the point spread accordingly? I don't know what goes into their algorithms at that point because, like you said, this game, assuming both teams were at full force, Syracuse was a 4-point favorite. And so now, obviously, with what's happened to the Cougs, they've adjusted the point 2 touchdowns. And then, you guys are obviously fans of the Cougs. We follow it. Is that enough? Is that enough adjustment? Is that too much adjustment? I don't know if anybody really knows. We'll see at the end of the game at about 8 p.m. tonight. But I'll be curious if the Cougs put up a fight, cover the 18 points, or if they lose by 40 and it was like the easiest game of the year. I don't know. But I do find it interesting to say where Vegas goes, holy crap, we can't keep adjusting this line. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's got to be tough trying to figure that out. What do you think Kyle McCord throws for tonight? The over-under is 323. I think he might throw for 400.
The guy's good. I mean, he is. I watched him play against Miami. He went, punch for punch with Cam Ward and ended up beating Cam Ward at the end of the year. So, I mean, if Syracuse, you never know. They could have a letdown. I don't see it. Maybe they look at the Cougs roster and go, man, this game's not as exciting as it was a few weeks ago, and maybe they lay a clunker. But I would think McCord has a big game tonight.
All right, Troy, this is one of the better bowl matchups tomorrow. Colorado, Coach Prime, a 4-point favorite in the Alamo Bowl over BYU.
Initially I really liked Colorado, and I'm going to stick with that -4. The one thing that does scare me is, Dion says he's going all in. His guys are on insurance.
God, watch out for that train or whatever's going by there.
He's not on the tracks, Jim.
Not on the track. Come on.
I thought that was a train going by. Sorry.
Unless you're saying something, Troy. I don't know. You okay?
I'm
Blink
okay.
twice if you're okay.
I'm okay. Yeah, Deion Sanders, you wonder if these guys are going to play a full 4 quarters and go all out. I think they will. Deion's come out and vocal and said that. And if so, I'd like to think these guys go out with a bang. Colorado's a good team. I think it's close, 31-24. I'll take Colorado, but it does scare me, that if Shadir or Hunter, one of those guys, takes a big hit early on, he may pull the plug on those guys.
Yeah, do we know how much the policy is? It's the most ever, right?
I don't have that number, but it is the most ever. Yes.
That is crazy.
It's amazing to me that he cares that much about this game, but it looks like Cam Ward's going to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl against Iowa State.
I'll be honest with you, surprised by that, and then I'm wondering if his NIL deal tied him to it. Said
Yeah.
if you have to play in the bowl game or we take the money back. I'm just curious. I mean,
Good point.
all those NIL deals I would tie to the bowl game. I'd be like, listen, you want to get paid, you play as long as we are playing, you are playing
I agree.
for us. All right, the Huskies are taking on Louisville in the Sun Bowl. Huskies getting 2.5. I was a little surprised by this line.
Yeah, originally, I'll be honest, I liked Louisville. I did, but as I've dug deeper into this, Louisville's missing a lot of guys, including their quarterback, who's outstanding this year, Tyler Slow. He will not play in this game. Washington's got the bulk of their team. I like the fact that Williams is going to, prepare as the one, and he's had plenty of time to do so. So I've switched gears on this one. I like Washington getting 2.5. They really only adjusted the line 2.5 points, and Louisville's missing 8 starters. So I'm leaning Washington on this one now.
All right, we know you love the Longhorns, don't you, Troy? And I think you like them again against ASU in the Peach Bowl. They're giving 13.5 to the Sun Devils.
A lot of points, and Dillingham's going to have his guys ready to go. There's no doubt about that, but I really do believe this is men against boys. I think that Texas offensive line and defensive line is going to be too much for ASU. That line's 13.5 for a reason. You saw what they did to Clemson last week. They're going to do it again to ASU. 38-17, give me the Longhorns.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to give it to our dogs of the week. I love Dilling Ball. Give me Dilly Ball. All right. We got Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And the Buckeyes, despite losing the first matchup, the Buckeyes are the team that's favored by 2.5.
Yeah, they're coming in hot. They looked good against Tennessee. That was a big momentum win for the Buckeyes. This is going to be a great game. Oregon's had a long layover at this point. Can they get up and be ready to go and be up to speed, with Ohio State having that big win against Tennessee? This is going to be a fun game to watch. In the end, I do think Ohio State prevails. Give me the Buckeyes 31-27.
That's going to be a hell of a game, isn't it?
Really looking forward to that.
Again, it kind of doesn't it feel like that's the national championship game?
Yeah. Well, I got Texas winning it all. Texas winning it all.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you have a ticket on them at like 7-1 or something like that?
4-1.
4-1. That's still good though. The other quarterfinal, Georgia -2 against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl.
This one surprised me, and that's why I'm going with Georgia. I thought Notre Dame would be favored in this game, with Georgia going with the backup quarterback who doesn't have a lot of reps. That Georgia defense is tough, and they're going to be ready. Kirby Smart will be ready. This guy's a winner. This is going to be a great football game. I think Georgia prevails 28-24. Originally, like I said, I like Notre Dame, but there's a reason the Bulldogs are favored. Give me the Bulldogs -2.
Feels like they know something we don't, and they usually do, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I thought Notre Dame would be favored. They looked outstanding last week in their bowl game. They're playing really good ball. Marcus Freeman's got them playing good ball. But man, Georgia's favored for a reason, so I'll roll with the Bulldogs.
Okay, last, those are all the plays. Again, we'll just recap them for you. Get to TroyWins.com, get all the gambling advice there, and then go to your local casino and make your picks. He likes the Cuse tonight, -17 against our beloved Cougs. Colorado, favored by 4 over BYU. Likes the Huskies, +2.5 against Louisville. Texas, -13.5 against Arizona State. Ohio State in the Rose Bowl against Oregon, -2.5. And finally, Georgia, -2 against Notre Dame. Let's get to your lock of the week. You're on fire. Last 9 weeks, 7-2. What's your lock of the week, Troy?
Lock of the week, I'm going to the NFL. They've been good to me. Betting against the Cowboys. I know they've played better as of late, but I'm going with the Eagles. The Eagles are at home. They've got the division on the line. They are embarrassed last week by the Commanders blowing that football game. They are going to bounce back. I realize that Jalen Hurts is not likely to play in this game. That is factored into the decision. Still love the Eagles, -7. The Cowboys waved the red flag this week. They said CeeDee Lamb shut down for the year. They're starting to sit a lot of guys and kind of focus more on next year. Give me the Eagles. They got to win this game. Eagles -7. They win in a big, big way. 28-10. I'll take the Eagles.
Okay, let's get to our dogs of the week. And right now, we just started this a few weeks ago. Jim and I are both 3-2. Troy's at 2-3, so we got a game up on Troy right now. Our dogs of the week, we have to take an underdog. Troy, who's your dog of the week?
I'm going with Boise State. They're getting 11 points in their bowl game. They've had plenty of time to prep for a Penn State team that I just don't think is that good. I realize they took it to SMU. SMU threw a lot of pick sixes that helped that score. You're going to get a lot of Austin Genty. I love this game. Boise State could win it. They're going to hang within 11. I think ultimately Penn State prevails 28-27. but give me Boise State as my dog of the week.
Okay, Jimbo, who's your dog of the week?
I'm taking America's team. Just, screw it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any good reason to take them other than I'm a Coug. I'm a proud Coug, and I want to be happy tonight. So let's go.
Are you a proud Coug?
I am a proud Coug. I've always been a proud Coug. Why would you question that?
I've seen a lot of negative stuff on Twitter, Jim. A lot of people say
he's very negative. It's been a negative month for Jim.
God, yeah. Well, I can't help it. I just, I'm just a knee jerk. I'm a jerk and a knee jerk reaction kind of guy. I can't help it. But I like the Cougs.
I get about 10 phone calls a week, Puck, that say, "Can I come on the show and just talk to Jim Moore for 5 minutes?" I'll pay Puck to
because he's so negative, or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. No, just because I'm such a great guy and so popular, It's
glass half empty. Yeah. Glass half empty there for Jim. All right, so Jim's got the Cougs +7. I love it, man. I love you're going with your heart. I love it. And I'm going against
that stuff with your head, not your heart. God, fuck those people.
Hey, remember, no swearing. YouTube knocks us for the swearing. So stop.
Okay, sorry.
No swearing.
I'm sorry. That was my first one, though.
Well, I know it was. I'm going to go against you, Troy, and I'm sorry. Okay. I'm doing it. I just love this guy so much. I love Kenny Dillingham. I just can't get enough of this guy, and I can't get enough of Scatabo. 19 touchdowns, damn near 1,600 yards, and Sam Levitt, the one-time Coug commit. Give me ASU +13.5 against Texas. And this is a heart pick too. And I just feel that Sarkisian's going to somehow be exposed at some point. Some point going to be exposed. I just want to see Dillingham on the field doing a cake stand after they win. That's all I want.
You probably will.
Yeah, most likely will. All right.
It sure seems like those double-digit dogs, though, in the college football tournament. They haven't fared well so far.
They have not fared well so far. They have not.
I think they've nailed it, and Troy's going to nail it again probably. But well, that's why we take the underdogs. All right, before you go and get your drink on a Friday, one more time, TroyWins.com. What do they get when they go to the website?
Yeah, right now, if you go to the website, you're going to get a big old pop-up, 7 days free. 7 days free. That's all plays, VIP. No upsells, no gimmicks. We just want to show you what the service is about. So get to TroyWins.com. 7 days free. We're taking you through the bowl season. We've been on absolute fire. 9-2 our last 11. Get to the website. We'd love to help you out. That's TroyWins.com.
All right, you sir, have a fabulous weekend, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next week after a New Year's, and we'll get you all prepped and ready for the semifinals.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, happy New Year to you as well. Follow him on social media. It's Troy West, TroyWins.com. All right, a pub crawl before 11 on a Friday.
Troy has a good life, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. A pub crawl at 11. Last week he's playing Chambers Bay. Next week he's probably in Vegas. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Not bad. No, I was worried about whatever was whizzing by him there. I thought it was a train.
Well, it might have been I think he's down in Edmonds, right? Or he's up in Edmonds from where I'm at. He's probably near the train, probably parked right on the street. All right. So you're taking the Cougs, huh? Are we betting our own money on that
I'm taking the Cougs. You got any voicemails this week?
I do. I got one voicemail.
I got one?
I got one.
Yeah, it's a heart pick, obviously, because
of course
it is. I mean, we really, if we're being honest about it, we think the Cougs are going to get boat raced or blown out or drilled or whatever you want to use. I don't really see us hanging around. Maybe Zevi Eckhouse. How do you say his last name? Is it Eckhouse?
Zev Eckhouse. Yep. Yeah, you threw me off for a second. Yes, Zevi Eckhouse.
Do you think I was going to talk for a while and you were distracted?
Well, I don't know. You kind of threw me off. I watched him play in the spring game. I mean, not the spring game, but the last practice. And I mean, he doesn't have a big arm. He's mobile. He's mobile for sure.
Okay.
He can throw it short, intermediate, but he's not gonna attack you downfield. But I'm just, you know what? For all those kids that stayed to play in this game, and for the coaches, even though I know a lot of these coaches are going elsewhere after this, including your Pete Caligas, even though those guys are going to leave and have opportunities to go elsewhere, some of them are no doubt going to go to Jake Dickert and go to Wake Forest. I just want to say I appreciate that they've all stayed to finish the job, even though they're going to go elsewhere. They've finished a commitment, and I'm all for it. I love what Kyle Williams said this week. Hey, I signed up here to finish the season. I'm going to finish the season because that's what I want to do. Now, he's out of options anyways, but, he didn't have to play in the bowl game. He didn't want to, so just to all those guys. That's why, in a weird way, I'm looking forward to the game tonight just because to those, the Kyle Thorntons of the world and any of these guys that could have left, that didn't, decided to stay, and the coaches who easily could have, if they were offered a job on Jake's staff or another staff, could have easily left. They didn't. They're going to see it through, and I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, Puck, and I think you'll agree with this. If we have a shot in hell tonight, Kyle Williams has to have a huge night. I would just throw it to Kyle Williams, and maybe the guy that bleeds Cougar Crimson and all that shit. Throw it to him every once in a while. Throw it to Hudson, even though he's leaving. But no, Kyle Williams, 150 yards in receiving. If he does that with 2 or 3 touchdowns, we'll be in the game.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be. It could be. I think what probably is going to happen is this. I think for the first quarter, maybe the first half, they'll play with them because they're going to have so much emotion, right? They're going to play above. They're going to play above their weight. There's going to be a lot of emotion, and then I think just as the game wears on, they're just going to get too tired.
If we win the toss, can we take the ball? Can we do that?
You don't want to see our defense, our elite defense, on the field.
Can we just take the ball and maybe, have a shot at taking the lead? Because if we win the toss and defer, that'll be the wrong decision. Plus, I've already bet on 5 different Cougars to have the first touchdown. So that's factoring into why I hope we do that. But let's take the ball and score like Green Bay did against the Seahawks 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. I don't think it matters.
Why don't you just agree with me and say, hey, good idea, Jim.
Hey, great point, Jim. You know what? I should have thought of that before. It was a wonderful point. My fault. All right. You want to hear our one voicemail?
Yeah.
And it's a guy that I'm surprised that you haven't brought up yet to be the new Cougars head coach.
All right.
Okay, Jon Gruden.
Hey, Puckett, hey, more. It's Jon Gruden calling, Coach Chucky. Now, Jim, you're a national treasure, and I love you, but you left me out of the conversation for the Coug job. All right, I've seen tape on Zebiekas. I can make him the leading pass thrower in the country next year. I'm your guy. Goodell's never going to let me back in the league. He'll be shitting himself at a nursing home before he lets me back in. I don't think I haven't been trying to get all these jobs, but I'm your guy for Pullman. Are you with me? Knock if you're with me, men. Go Cougs. Have McCoy call me.
I think the way he did at the end really kind of nailed the Gruden. Tell McCoy to call me. Just like a crook, quick.
What would you think of Jon Gruden as the next Cougar coach? For me, the reason I brought up Neuheisel, it's because college football is just a circus anyway. Why don't we just participate in one of those 3 rings and take Neuheisel or Jim Mora or Jon Gruden?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea at all. Just any ideas. I don't want Neuheisel because the only reason Neuheisel would want the job is to get his kid the gig in like a year or so.
Well, but Neuheisel would make it fun.
Yeah, well, would it be fun if they're 3-9? No, it wouldn't be fun.
Probably
it wouldn't be fun.
No, if Gruden's going to take anybody's job in Pullman, it should be Craig Elo's. Because we know that Gruden's a good broadcaster, and we know he's a football guy. And maybe he doesn't know anything about basketball, but at least he can talk.
Jesus,
and so I would like to
stop ripping on Craig Elo.
Oh God, I got stuck listening to that the other day because I didn't want to pay for that Flow network or whatever, the last game we had, and so I listened to the game with Chris King and Craig Elo, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. He was a hell of a basketball player, but
you're just not.
Huh? I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. Craig Elo probably thinks I'm horseshit as a broadcaster too, but
he probably does. He probably does.
Yeah, that's all right. Am I wrong about that?
Before you go, because it's the holidays.
Listen, you just ignore
Egan.
me.
Chris Egan joins us for his weekly Friday visit before Jim departs us.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Egan, can you talk some sense into him? He keeps ripping Craig Elo nonstop. Can you tell him to be nice to Craig Elo, please?
Jim, Craig has enough to worry about with all the Jordan memories and, the NBA, trying to guard MJ. He doesn't need Jim Moore. But then again, I was thinking last night, Puckett. Is Richard Sherman where he's at without Jim Moore? I'm not sure if he is. I think, Jim may have sparked Richard into the broadcast field, and there he is on national TV, and Al Michaels is claiming that Richard Sherman bought a suit in Puyallup, which did not happen because you can't buy a suit like that in Puyallup. But you know what? Jim, you do what you got to do because you inspire people in an interesting way.
That kind of sounded like a backhanded compliment. God, what are they paying you at King 5 anyway? Jesus Christ, look at that house you have there. That's awesome.
Oh, well, it's the wife. I owe it all to the wife. Melanie Egan Real Estate, Jim. That's all.
God, when are we having a barbecue this summer and having a party? Come on.
Anytime we want to go and do, we can play some pickleball. We could do we'll call it podcast and pickleball.
Okay.
We can do it. I got a new paddle, Jim. Look at that.
How about that? Is NBC like starting a pickleball league?
I don't know, but they sent one to me. So not bad, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
So here's the problem when you play pickleball, guys. I didn't ask there was no pickleball on any of my Christmas list. I received pickleball underwear, a pickleball blanket, a pickleball T-shirt. So
did you hide your pickleball later?
Don't play, Chris. Don't play along with that. Don't play along with that.
No, he tries to get me to go there sometimes, Jim, but I don't. I don't fall for the bait.
Yeah, it gives me a hard time about swearing, and he's always bringing up sexual references and
innuendos. It's not swearing.
Hey, Jim, are you taking the Cougs and the points tonight?
God, yes.
Is it 17 right now? Is that the latest?
17? I'm waiting for the line to keep going up.
It is, I think, increased here. I think we are up now to, hold on.
17 last night.
It was 17.
The 11 o'clock news.
It is now 18.
Wow.
I bet it's 20 by kickoff.
Is Javinsky Schlenbaker in the lineup tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Look,
I don't know.
Look for the former prep zone, the King 5's prep zone athlete to have a big night tonight. Javinsky Schlenbaker.
Why can't that be more like Egan, Puck? I mean, because he's always positive and
I don't know. It's
if Egan is going to assess Craig Elo's performance, he would talk about, some really nice things about him, and then I just trash on the guy. I'm a bad human being.
No,
I know. Not. You just need to improve. You're not a bad human being.
No,
I just think
Jim.
that you inherently look for the worst in people, and it's, just change.
Jim, that's why people love to listen to you.
I don't know about that.
Because you are their inner voice.
What? People love to listen. Chris, I got fired twice. They must like to listen to me that much.
Actually, hold on. Chris, that's a fair point. He's been fired twice. I'm not sure how many people love listening.
Jim, before you leave, I want to make you feel really good. That, you think, oh, Chris, you're so positive and, you don't do anything wrong. Well, Jim, I have sinned, and I want to confess it on the Puckett podcast here, and I want you to listen. So we're at my mom's house Christmas Eve, and we are having a fun time drinking a lot of red wine. And my mom does throw out a warning about 5 o'clock. Chris, you seem to be drinking maybe a little too much red wine. We don't want you falling asleep at church. I'm like, I'm fine, Mom. I'll be fine. We get to church, Jim, and the church, I'm going to say they had the temperature a little hot. Maybe it was for the older congregation.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s. I had, a lot of red wine. We're midway through the sermon, and all of a sudden I get just a big elbow from my wife. I had fallen asleep during the middle.
Please say you were snoring.
I not only was a little snore, but I dropped my program. So, Jim, there's not much worse than that, falling asleep during Christmas Eve service. So.
Was your mom disappointed in you?
I think she was. I think there was a little disappointment. But once I woke up, I kind of had some energy, and I brought it home on Joy to the World and Hark the Herald Angels and Silent Night. I was really doing the candles well. So
is this midnight mass? Are we going to a midnight one?
Well, they call it midnight mass, but it was at 7. So I'm not, it's the candlelight service. Now my youngest one he just doesn't enjoy the wine and the bread. So that's when he takes his bathroom break, is during communion. Yeah. And his grandpa caught onto it this year because he comes back and goes, "You're going to go up and get your communion, right?" He goes, "No." So we had it It was fun though.
Is this the only time you do church, the Egans?
No, we get there. You know, I wouldn't say we're an every Sunday church goer, but you know, we get there when we can.
All right.
You guys know it. It's, you know what? We'd love to go to church when we can, but when you got kids playing sports, I mean, it's every weekend. Playing on Sundays a lot.
I stopped going to church when they stopped serving the maple bars, so then I was out. So.
Puck and I are never church guys.
Not a church guy.
Never Sunday.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, Chris. All right. Hey, on that positive note, Jim, I'll be texting you during the game. Go Cougs plus the 18.
Hey,
all right. Take care. Hey, good to see you, Chris. Go Cougs.
Hey, yeah. Happy New Year, Jim.
Okay. I'll see you this summer in the patio.
Yep. Okay, I've got a paddle waiting for you.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
All right, Jim. We'll see you on Monday. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Jim Moore. We spend Fridays. We wrap up every Friday with the one and only. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Chris Egan, brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. 3 locations, Sumner, Puyallup, and South Hill. Home of the original No Big Deal Pickle Pizza. Book one of their 3 food trucks. Catering, birthday parties, graduations, corporate events, fatzachspizza.com. Follow Chris on X and Instagram, Chris Egan5. Catch all the work at king5.com. We had a good Christmas. Get everything you wanted from
You know
Santa.
what? I'm going to be honest with you, Puck. The more you go through it, I thought we were really dialed in. It was a very good Christmas. I mean, it's just, you live and learn. You know, lights were up early. The wife and I, you know, she did a lot of the Amazon ordering. So she was dialed in. We had all of our gifts. The wrapping was great. You know, when the kids get older, there's less toys. There's less little items.
Are you a good present wrapper?
No, I'm not very good at wrapping. So I pay my daughter to do most of that because I end up wasting a lot of the wrapping paper.
I am awful.
But it was I mean, I'm like you, I probably waste way too much paper. And then there's some people that really get into it and are good. But here's, I found out this year, you get to our age, Puck, it's giving gifts that have meaning and showing that you were willing to go out and, like, I got my wife a lot of things that she wouldn't have thought I would have known about, like her shampoo was running low.
Oh,
one of her makeup things was low. I went to Lulu on my own and asked the ladies there to help out, and they knew her size and all that stuff. So it was a good. And then my brother Mike, I did a poem basically around my brother Brian, and gave him a lot of sentimental gifts, and went out and he doesn't get too emotional, but he kind of choked up. So it was a strong Christmas. I will say this, Puck, just too much eating and drinking though. I feel like I need to go on just a cleanser right now for 3 or 4 days.
A lot of heavy snacks and sweets and meats.
Well, it's just everywhere. You go to these parties and you're just surrounded by snacks and everybody. I mean, when did charcuterie boards become the norm? Because I swear in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, you didn't go to places and there was gigantic meat trays. Now they're just everywhere. And I have nothing against them. I love them, but you can't. I literally had to push the meat tray away from me at one party because I just kept.
But I'm telling you, the charcuterie board's better than the meal.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, sometimes you get to the meal and you're full because you've had so much charcuterie board. But,
I went 3 straight days of, like, one was like prime. Like we had dinner with some friends in a big group. It was prime, I think, with prime rib, and then lobster. Crab legs and prime rib and like a baked potato bar. And then it was Christmas Eve dinner where I make pork schnitzel with spätzle. It's a German recipe. And then red cabbage, heavy, lots of gravy. Mm-hmm. And then the next night after that is our Norwegian tradition of Swedish meatballs and mashed potatoes and left. I'm just like, I can't breathe. I just can't breathe, man. It's
I know. And then you're just down in the wine and the mixed drinks, and it's just
well, the wine flows. Everyone's having a good time. You're telling stories, and you just glup, 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 just keep pouring that thing. And I need a late night capper at 11:30 of some brown liquor. Yeah, that's good.
And I even took at one of the parties, I found myself just conked down on one of the sofa chairs and took a power nap for a half an hour, and then boom, you get back up and let's
Wait,
go. Let's
at a dinner party on someone else's couch.
I took a half hour nap, but then I popped back up, and nobody bugged me. I got back up and we got at it again. So
there you go. Puke and rally.
But no, it's fun. I love the holidays. It's always sad when it's over. And now, Puck, this is where you and I have to really pump up the Pacific Northwest, because I call this, it's the holidays are over. I mean, you still have New Year's Eve coming. We got New Year's at the Needle.
We got New Year's Eve.
On King 5 TV, if you want to watch that.
Excuse me, where is it at?
King 5 TV, New Year's at the Needle.
Who's hosting? Who's hosting New Year's at the Needle?
St. Brian and Jim Dever this year. I'll be doing these sportscasts leading up until the big New Year's at the Needle.
No, really? You got to work on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, but what a difference a year makes. Last year at this time, Puck, I was on a plane to New Orleans with the Huskies for the semifinals against Texas.
You didn't want to go to El Paso for the holidays, or?
Yeah, no. I've been to the Holiday Bowl. I went there when the Huskies played Nebraska.
Yeah.
That was a fun bowl game. That actually.
Well,
really
Holiday
was
Bowl's
fun.
great, but what about El Paso and the Sun Bowl? Are we sending anybody to the Sun Bowl for the Huskies?
No, there will not be any local media. I don't think, and I can't speak for the other stations, but I'm pretty sure nobody else will be there.
You know what I want them to do? I want Como to send Nico to El Paso and keep him there.
Come on. We love Nico.
Joking. I love Nico. Hey,
Nico,
we're going to send you to El Paso, Nico. Don't come back.
Don't come back. Well, Sylvie had to go to Chicago on Christmas Day. Had to fly out on the Christmas Day flight. Yeah. But and what a
oh my God!
I go back and forth on this, Puck. It was
awful.
It was an awful game. But I mean, I think like back to the Giants game. You know that was just a terrible loss. Somehow they got out of Chicago with a win. It was just an awful game though. I don't even know what to think. I mean, Chicago fans must just be. Was that eight in a row now for them?
No, 10 in a row.
10. Wow.
10. I just love I love watching fan bases put the bags on their heads. There is nothing better than watching a fan base who, again, is because we're all hypocrites and they love their team. They just hate the people that own it. I mean, again, we can bring it back to the Mariners because there's a lot of that out here, but they're still going and they're in love with the team so much they're willing to actually still go and put a bag over their head.
Yeah, in just freezing weather, and I mean they're chanting "sell the team" at the end of that game last night. It was just an embarrassment for the Bears. An ugly wins a win, but come on, 6-3 over the Bears.
I know. Again, I'm glad had they not won. I mean, the season's over and all that, but so glad they won. Still have a chance to get in the playoffs and all that. But I mean, if you weren't a Seahawks fan or you weren't a Bears fan, you're sitting watching that thing. It was just brutal. And yes, they played great on defense, but come on, the Bears offensively are terrible.
Yeah,
they
couldn't. I mean, they couldn't absolutely. I mean, it was just, and then they get one solid play last night, pretty much, and it's a holding call where Roma Dunze breaks free of the end zone, and it's a hold. That's the luck of the Bears right now. And how bad was that game last night, Puck? Well, you've been in this business a long time. I have a feeling at some point during a commercial break, one of the producers or somebody went to Al Michaels and said, "You know what, Al? I'm buying dinner tonight if you can fit the word squim and Puyallup into the broadcast."
So I must have missed that. How did he work in did he work in squim as well?
He worked in squim after Puyallup, and so they show they said the halftime crew's coming up, so they show the whole halftime crew.
Yeah.
And Sherman opens up his suit and he's showing it off, and it's got like Seahawks stuff inside his suit. And Al Michaels is like, "Well, I think Sherman's been shopping for suits in Puyallup." And so I was just like, "What?
You're not getting that in Puyallup."
No, I know. I'm like, first off, you nailed the pronunciation. Al Michaels knew Puyallup. He threw it in there, but I'm like, Al, there's no suit shops like that in Puyallup. I'm sorry.
Why do we think he referenced Puyallup? Does he have a relative there?
No, I think honestly it was probably one of those broadcast bets. I bet you somebody got in his ear and said, Al, fit Squim and fit Puyallup into the broadcast tonight. Steak dinner on me.
Yeah.
And he did it. And he nailed it. It was like all over social media last night because that's how boring the game was, Puck, that we were more excited about Al talking about Puyallup and Squim than the 13 punts. 13 punts in that game last night.
And you thought they were going to – like when they converted the fourth down play, the one of DJ Moore in 4th and 10 where he just threw it up, and then I'm like, they're going to lose the game. They're going to either they're going to tie it or go to overtime and lose, or they're going to lose it, just in regulation.
And, Puck, watching football, you know what I can't do anymore? I can't play 2 fantasy teams at the same time. I'm in 2 finals.
You can't do it.
I have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback in one of the finals. I'm going up against him in another finals. It's just it was.
You got to just.
I need to get rid of one of the teams.
Yeah,
I can't do anymore. Live and learn on that one. I'm worried about the state of. I know you and Jim were talking about it, and we're going everywhere, but I'm just. It's depressing where we are with college football right now. And Puck, I read the line last night in the 11 o'clock news. 26 Cougars, had entered the transfer portal. You have one already committing to UW, and it's just. I'm going to be reading these highlights, and I've read Cougar highlights all season long as the weekend anchor, and I'm literally going to be reading these highlights, and I'll be saying names that I've never said before all year long.
Sure.
And it's just, I don't know, it's sad. I saw some of the video from the Holiday Bowl, and I saw a lot of fans down there, and great for them. But how many families, plan, hey, the Cougars made the Holiday Bowl. Let's take the whole family down there. These aren't cheap trips, Puck. These are $5,000, $10,000 trips. And obviously, I think you got to go there and enjoy the experience more than the game. And if you were a Seahawks fan, head to Chicago. Hopefully you enjoyed some deep dish pizza. But, I feel bad, not only for the Cougs, I feel bad for a lot of teams out there that are going through this stuff because it's not fun.
No, it's not. It's just the way it's changed immensely, and I don't know how you change it back. I don't think you ever can. It's out now, right? It's just this is what it's going to be like, and you just have got to stop. I think you got to stop caring so much as fans do about the players because they're here 1 year and then they're gone. You just don't know. I can't tell you who's going to be on the field tonight. One, because I literally do not know. Because the coach, Caligus, the former Husky lineman, he won't say who's actually really playing. You don't really have any clue.
He may not even know. He may not even know, Puck.
He may not know. And it's just such a change and I think everyone agrees the players probably deserve to get a little bit more, but it's not like this. Like this isn't what it was supposed to be, how it was supposed to be handled. And they've just got to regulate it somehow. And I hope they can, but there really is no governing body of the sport. And it's disappointing because it really is a great sport. Now the numbers are great and people still watch and all that because you just love football, but it's taken more a professional more of a professional look to it. And I think that's the thing that we liked college athletics, that it wasn't professional. It was different.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. I mean, the playoffs are going to have good ratings. They're going to make big money on the TV deals. And in the end, that is the number one bottom line is, how are your ratings? Are you pulling in money? If you're pulling in money, and they'll just keep going that way. So unfortunately, the smaller schools are going to pay the price on this one, but
how are the ratings for? How'd you do in your pickleball tournament? Did you end up winning the whole thing, you and your partner?
Well, we ended up taking second place, Puck, in that one. But I'm going to tell you what: 7 straight hours of pickleball on this 51-year-old body.
Still recovering.
I was out of commission for 3 days on that thing, but
that's why you were drinking so much wine.
Oh, I could not move. I could not sleep because my body was just like so sore at night. And but I had a blast. And a couple of the guys have been texting me afterwards, like, "Hey man, you got to come on the tour with us, And my wife's like, "You're not going on a tour to make $20. All right, you're.
That's all they get paid.
I mean, the high-level open pros. I mean, there was actually, Puck. There's a Waters. Her name's Waters. Anna Lee.
Wait, I mean, her name is Waters.
Well, her
Does
last
she have
name
some
is
pickleball
Waters.
player that just goes by one name, Waters?
Well, there's so many players. I think it's Anna Lee. She made, I think, $3.5 million last year. So they basically, I think there was a story, and I would need to verify it, that the top 10 women's pickleball players are making more than WNBA and NWSL soccer players right now.
God.
So that, I mean, it's not slowing down. You see the merchandise everywhere. I mean, you've got a movie coming out with Ben Stiller, that's it's gonna be kind of like dodgeball with pickleball. So it's not gonna slow down there. And I've been saying this for a year and a half. Once the youth movement takes into this sport, it's gonna just blow up, and you're gonna see some sports, start disappearing. You're just, unfortunately, Puck, a lot of kids. I love the sport of baseball, but it's become very expensive. It's become you have to be on these club teams now to play in it. But there's some sports like that, that are, I don't know. It's I think baseball will be around for a long time, but somehow you've got to make it affordable for everybody out there. Right now,
but you don't need to. Here's the deal. You don't need to go play. I mean, my kid does it. I mean, your kids, you don't need to play it. You don't need to play club ball. You don't have to.
Yeah,
I agree. If they want to, you can.
Yeah.
And here's the deals. I think about it all the time. It's just because he plays doesn't mean he's going to turn out to be anything. It's whatever.
Sure. That's a good point. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think a lot of people out there think you got to play club sports to succeed, and really you don't have to. I mean, you can sign up for any sport out there and just go have some fun, and you never know what's going to happen.
Pickleball, when it reaches its point, is when you start getting club pickleball.
Yeah, and
it starts playing.
And
you start paying a couple of grand a year for club pickleball.
That may be my job outside of the TV world. Whenever the TV world ends, I may be. There's a great little Toys R Us that has not been filled in Puyallup, that's just sitting there empty.
Love a Toys R Us.
Maybe when the Mel Egan real estate world just really blows up, she'll let me take that Toys R Us over. It should become a Trader Joe's, but if it does not, I'm gonna take over and take over the pickleball.
Hey,
world,
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go watch it. Where can I find the Prep Zone Holiday Special?
Yeah, it aired last night at 9:00 on Kong. Aired on Christmas Day at like noon.
That's where the primetime viewing is. Let's be honest.
I'm really getting some primetime showings with this show.
Come on.
I think you can go to King 5 Plus and stream it. I believe you could stream it now. They're big into the streaming world now, so I think you could stream it.
Can I find it on the YouTube page?
Yeah, we got 7 stories on there.
Good.
We have Gaylord Strand was the longtime Yelm wrestling coach. We feature him. That he just retired. The Coleman Brusa brothers from Kennedy Catholic, 2 brothers that have grown up together. One's going to UW now. One's, I think, the top defensive end in the country. You got a Glosman gal from Redmond, who's one of the top tennis players in the world. And then, the thing I love about it, Puck, is we do have football, but we showcase basketball as well. But then we showcase a lot of different sports. And we're starting off the year, Puck. I love this story. It's going to air, I think, maybe next week or the following week. Her name is Elaine Smith. She grew up in Centralia. Her brother played with Detlef Shrimp, okay? She didn't have – I think they had her senior year in Centralia. They had women's girls basketball, so she played. Wasn't very good. Went to Pacific Lutheran University, and while she was there – she met some friends, and one of the friends asked her to go watch a Rogers girls basketball game in 1983. And this is roughly when Kyrie Irving's mom was actually playing for Rogers. So Elaine goes to Rogers to watch a game, and the scorebook person doesn't show up. And so the head coach is kind of panicked and looks in the crowd and asks Elaine if she would be able to do the scorebook that night. She says, yes, 1983. 2024, Elaine Smith is still doing scorebook for Rogers girls and boys basketball games. So that's 40 plus years. She took 1 year off to battle cancer.
Wow.
And so we're going to share that story is going to be coming out pretty soon. You've got Ryan Hansen, the head coach at Auburn High School, helped Auburn win a state basketball title. He grew up in Leavenworth, one of the state's best basketball players. His son is a senior at Auburn. I think they're one of the top teams in 3A. His wife is the coach of the girls team, and their daughter's on that team, and they're one of the best teams in the state. So we got a little love connection story coming up as well. So we're excited. We got some fun stories coming up in 2025.
All right. Well, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that Elaine Smith one.
Yeah.
That's very cool. 1983 and 2024. That's great stuff.
Still, and the thing I love is we talked to all these different coaches, and they're all like, she is the best scorebook person in the country, and the referees know it. And when they see her on the book, they love it because she keeps the game straight. And it's funny. It's those little things, Buck. You know when you coach, and sometimes you look over there and you got some 8-year-old running the scoreboard, and you're like, you've got to keep an eye on the score.
I need to recruit a parent as we start our games coming up here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I need to recruit a parent to sit next to me to do the scorebook. I need to know fouls and timeouts. So I need to get
timeouts,
yep.
And then you got to keep track of the real score. How many times you've been coaching the game and you're coaching in the middle of the game, and all of a sudden you hear Tom on the other side like, Coach Chris, we got 22. It only has us for 18. It only has us, and then you're just like. So that will be fun to showcase Elaine, and we got a lot of other great stories on the way too. So going to be a fun year, and who knows, Buck? We may be getting ready for a playoff run. If not, then it's get ready for spring training. But,
getting ready for spring training, and maybe next week we'll spend some time on all the money they've spent so far during the.
I don't even know. I mean, that's why I need to. Yeah, I need you to help me. Haven't done anything, have we? We really haven't done anything.
Nothing. They've done nothing. They've done a single move. Not a single move. Okay. It's unbelievable.
Well, and Chance is really doing well at T-Mobile right now.
Yeah. Just, you know what? And I'm gonna get sucked back in like we're both gonna get sucked back in like we always do.
We are because I'm gonna sit there and go, oh, the pitching's been phenomenal.
Of course, that's what we do. It's what we do. Yeah. Hey, Merry Christmas to you. We'll talk to you next week. It'll be post New Year's. Happy New Year's to you and the family.
Yes, we'll look for me New Year's Eve, King 5. I'll be working, and so I hope you have fun, buddy. Have a good time with the family.
We'll have one for you. All right. We'll cheers, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Go Cougs. Hopefully get a win today in the Holiday Bowl.
Thank you, Chris. There he is. Chris Egan with us every Friday here on Puck Sports. It's all brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza, 3 locations, Sumner, Puyallup, and South Hill. Home of the original No Big Deal Pickle Pizza. Book one of their 3 food trucks, catering, birthday parties, graduations, corporate events. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, at fatzachspizza.com. And, of course, you can always catch these episodes up on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast, and always up at PuckSports.com. As we wrap up a abbreviated week here on the Daily Puck Drop. We've had just, shows on Monday, and then we were back yesterday and today. We'll have the same schedule next week, right, because we got New Year's Eve and New Year's, so we won't be on those days. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Thursday and Friday next week, and then after that, we'll be back into the full schedule. We wrap up every Daily Puck Drop, though, with the Hey, What the Puck, as we wrap up this Friday's show with Hey, What the Puck. Brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It is your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online. Restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Said this earlier with Jim, just repeat it again because we spent just a few minutes on it. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Odds say that the Cougs are going to probably get blown out tonight. All right. I mean, the line's 17. Actually, the line is 18. So can they hang for a little while? maybe just because of, I think, the emotion that's going to go into it, they'll be pretty jacked up to prove everyone wrong. And then slowly but surely, probably Syracuse pulls away. I hope they have a great game. I hope the Cougs shock the world, pull off an upset and all that, or at least play with them the entire game. They're severely outmanned. They have no coaches. Their head coach is gone, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I mean, they fired him, running backs coach, quarterbacks coach, all of it. Almost 30 players in the portal. Who knows if those kids are playing in the portal? We don't know the exact number of those kids that are going to actually play in the game coming up tonight. I just want to say this. For the coaches that stayed behind, Pete Callaghan, Jordan Malone, other coaches who, Nick Edwards, wide receivers coach, who probably are going to go elsewhere, probably tomorrow or the next day. Maybe they're joining Jake at Wake Forest or going someplace else. I don't know. I do want to say to them and to the players that stayed by, even the ones, I'll say this, even the ones that are in the portal who have decided to come back and play. Thank you. This is a crazy world of college football, changes everywhere, and I always think the easiest thing to do is the easiest way is just take the easiest path out, and I think some have done that, not just their program, but all programs. And I think there's something to be said for commitment. You commit to a program, to a team all year long, not just for X amount of games. And so for those players and coaches, despite them moving elsewhere and going to play or going to coach someplace next season, I think it's vitally important and very admirable on their part to say, you know what? Yes, I've got other plans, but I'm gonna seek this all the way through and help these guys out. It's very commendable. Commitment is kind of lost nowadays, especially there in college athletics. So I hope they make a shocker tonight and punch above their weights. We shall see as they kick it off tonight down there in San Diego, a little after 5 o'clock. All right, that's it for this week of the Daily Puck Drop. As we mentioned, this week we're just posting the entire episodes, one full episode. We may go when we go back to our regular scheduled programming. We'll divvy up the episodes again if that's what people want. If people don't want, I mean, it's kind of mixed. Most people just like the whole episode being up there. So this whole episode, Daily Puck Drop, up on YouTube. Please subscribe there, leave a comment. Let's push it over 4,000 subscribers there on YouTube. That would be great, please. And then also catch out the full episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, your preferred podcast platform. And you can always find everything up at PuckSports.com. When you're at PuckSports, or if you're streaming it live or later, that QR code, if you click it there, it's going to take you to the Patreon page. Sign up to be a Pucks Posse member. Full VIP content. You get all access to everything that we do at Puck Sports. And in addition, just the continuation and support of Puck Sports as we go into the new year. So you get VIP content plus supporting Puck Sports for just $5 a month. If you can't afford $5 a month, reach out to me, Puck at PuckSports.com, and we'll work something out. All right. Thank you for all those tuning in this week. Appreciate it as always. Again, enjoy your weekend. Oh, before we go, you can say it in the chat as well. I'll leave it open for a quick second before we sign off. Or you can tweet at me at Puck Sports or email me again, Puck at PuckSports.com. Troy's lock of the week was? What was Troy's lock of the week? First person to contact me what Troy's lock of the week was will get a $25 free play to TroyWins.com. He did it at the end. What is Troy's lock of the week? All right, that's it for us. We'll see you on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!